Welcome, Wastelanders. Well, we're here. The inaugural episode of two guys talking about movies. I guess it's true. Pod never changes. However, this here podcast is all about the Fallout franchise, or to be specific, searching for some sort of surrogate movie in lieu of an actual Fallout movie. So we start with the obvious choice here, Mad Max 2. From road levers to raiders to... Wait, is that a mysterious stranger? Maybe. You know, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest smegma crazies. Here's the theme tune. Welcome to PodNeverChanges, a Fallout movies podcast. It is two guys who are movie fans and Fallout fans, and we are trying to look for the perfect Fallout movie analog. I'm your host, Ricky, and hosting with me is...
LJ, hello.
Hello? No. Can it be? It is? It's LJ. How you doing?
I'm good. I forgot about that. I forgot you do that.
What, throw you off?
Yeah, throw me off.
Every time.
Wow.
So we're watching movies that we think have a very strong Fallout style, aesthetic, vibe, plots, etc. It's spurred on by the fact that we quite enjoy Fallout. There's a Fallout TV show, and you happen to watch movies and you're going, oh, that's just like in Fallout, or I can see Fallout, or that reminds me of that. And it's partly because Fallout is a big cultural, like mishmash or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's because of through all the game series, they just seem to add more and more ideas. It was pretty rich to begin with, to be fair. And so we're kind of looking for an analog, I think I said, or the closest to it. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finding movies. We'll maybe talk about our expectations of them. We will watch them, and then we are going to do some sort of rating to get the Fallout rating that we might have to score these. We could rank them, who knows, and then we'll watch another one is what we're looking to do, to keep seeing how many we can do, how close we can get to Fallout.
How Fallout is that? How Fallout is that that film? Yeah, because like you said, there's just so much packed into Fallout, right? There's so many cultural references, different styles and genres. So there's a lot to pick apart.
Yeah, how can you have end of the world, Cold War, retro aliens? It's everything. It's everywhere. I was thinking about movies that we could include, and what came into my head was, corporate intrigue. You know how you're going to the remains of an office and you're reading the emails, the internal emails, and then it's just talking about how so and so has been let go, do not admit him. It's like, that's odd. So it's I feel
you've
like
got that. You've got like noir. You've got Americana stuff. There's all sorts, horror, zombies, post-apocalypse. There's just so much in Fallout. That's why I love it. Yeah,
it's rich. It's rife. This is going to be a fun project, I hope.
So I guess on that note, then I'll sort of dip into a little bit of our Fallout credentials, really, our Fallout history. We are longtime fans, but then with Fallout being what it is and it having this kind of first phase of Fallout, early Fallout in the 90s, to your kind of Bethesda era Fallout, it means a longtime fan can mean different things depending on that. So I was just going to ask you, what was your entry point to Fallout? How did you come across it?
My entry point was I had a PS3, so this is a while back, and I was chatting to somebody at a retail job, and he says, "You don't know Fallout?" I went, "No," and he said, "Well, okay." And then the next day, he said, "Look, I've got a spare Fallout New Vegas." He just gave it to me. I was like, "Okay, let's try this." So I started at Fallout New Vegas. I then, what was available at the time was then also Fallout 3. Yeah. Played zero kind of add-ons or anything for that. Then to Fallout 4. Played with some of the add-ons, which are great fun. So when you go to the islands and other stuff. Or to Nuka World. And then I dipped in and out of Fallout 76. I think as John Carpenter said, he loves the game, but it's a janky... Well, it's janky, yeah.
Yeah, so, I feel like you could probably say that about a lot of the Fallout games, to be fair. But yeah, 76 especially.
So I've really... So 1 and 2 and kind of any of the add-ons up to Fallout... Yeah, up to and including Fallout 3, not touched, and then Fallout 4...
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you've never played Fallout 3 expansions?
No.
Okay, you should go back. Yeah, you should go back. That'd be a good fun one to dip into, I think.
I think I might have to. I was trying to research something, and I'll probably mention it later, but I was like, I was thinking of that, but I haven't played that add-on, so I don't know how I'm thinking of that. So
I actually didn't play the New Vegas expansions until fairly recently, like a few years ago. I'd played some of them, but I think the last one I hadn't. So yeah, I guess for me it was there was where I lived and grew up. There was, I don't know if you had this near you, but you'd have Game and Game Station, whatever else, where be your sort of mainstream access point to video games, but there was also just a guy that sold video games independently, which now is just like doesn't happen. That's all moved online. I liked him because he kind of introed me into a lot of the nerd sort of stuff that I was into at the time that wasn't available. He's kind of the reason why I got into the Dragon Ball manga, as an example.
I definitely had that guy who was selling Mega Drive games. And he had modern games, but it was also like I dug out my old Mega Drive, I guess, to international listers. That's a Sega Genesis, did they call it in the US? So. But like it was like I dug it out of my parents' attic, and I was like, this old thing, and I would go and buy them off him. But he would be also selling secondhand whatever games,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he was kind of the CEX of the day, I guess, and. Yeah, I was just looking through his game collection and then came across Fallout 3. I guess I must have been about 16, 17. It was nearabouts when it had come out, actually, but it was a used copy. I read the back of the cover and I was like, this is right up my alley. I was kind of into post-apocalyptic films and stuff at the time, actually, funnily enough. Like I was kind of dipping into that genre, so it's kind of coming full circle for me, and that's how I got into it. So I played Fallout 3. I think it was the Game of the Year edition, so I think I dipped into the expansions then and there, and then I lined up for Fallout New Vegas, so I was enough of a fan where I was anticipating it, and I think it wouldn't have been like a midnight release, but it came out the same day as a Call of Duty, and so everyone else was lining up for Call of Duty and I was lined up for New Vegas, and most of them, when they were asking me, I was like, they had no idea what that was. So yeah, it was New Vegas then, and yeah, like anticipating Fallout 4. Like I said, circled back to the DLC for New Vegas at a certain point. And then 76 I didn't end up getting on release. It was like a year down the line when the Settlers DLC came out. I finally dipped into 76 and played through that. And I actually enjoyed it. Like once the Settlers DLC was there, I just wasn't enthused prior to that.
I'm not a big online gamer, so I found it very frustrating because I'd spend some time. I'd pick up a workshop. Great, I'm just going to get a bit of aluminium because I need to make some mods or whatever. And then there'll be some OP guy with legendary weapon just comes in and just blasts me. And I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's not fun. I like offline play. I'm tedious like that. But like, it's kind of fun. But like, I don't play online very much. But like... When I think because most of those players are gone now with Fallout 76, because I think it's kind of tucked away, I've picked it up a bit more recently, and I'm like, oh, this is quite fun. Little level 250, and then these guys with a level 1,000 or whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Nice. Yeah, I wouldn't mind circling back to it, like, just because I've heard the community is quite good now. Like you said, once kind of the what they call griefers going on. And then
griefers is like it could be what you know, like in when you have movies and you have raiders, and we're not going to call them raiders, we're going to call them ravagers, or we're going to call them reavers. Griefers is such a good, like, you've made a movie and there's raiders, but we're calling them griefers.
Yeah, I think griefers are definitely the raiders of of the video game online space. And then I forgot to mention I did dip into Fallout 1 eventually as well. Sometime in between Fallout 4 and now, I guess, the last sort of decade. I've gotten a fair chunk through it. I guess for those who are familiar with Fallout 1, I've gotten to Necropolis, which is like the main ghoul city. I think it's called Necropolis. We were saying this before we started. We were like, the Fallout fan base they're sticklers for lore. So if we get anything wrong, there's gonna be Fallout. But yeah, so that's kind of our histories with the video games. And each sort of future episode will kind of, you know, delve a little further, maybe pick apart a topic as it relates to our kind of favourites and not favourites within the series, factions, and, you know, whatever else.
Any corrections, send them to PodNeverChanges@gmail.com.
There we go. And
we'll probably just cry. We'll go, you idiot! Not Necropolis! What did we watch today? We watched Mad Max 2 Road Warrior, right? So it seems like the expectation going in is that it's kind of end of the world. I don't know if you'd say post-apocalypse. I guess it is, because they kind of mentioned in the intro. But, you know, there's so many direct references, and we can talk about those as we go. But the idea is that we're looking for a very Fallout-like movie, and this, from memory, having watched it kind of served that purpose.
Yeah, so Mad Max 2, sometimes called Mad Max 2 The Road Warrior. I think I don't know if it's different regionally or not, but those are the two titles. At least that's what it's called for all of my streaming services. 1981, directed by legendary George Miller, who's, you know, circled back to making Fury Road and Furiosa.
Wait, the guy that made Happy Feet?
Yes, yeah, that guy.
That always catches me.
Yeah. I'm sure Happy Feet will turn up in a future episode of this show. But yeah, it's kind of, it is the we picked it because it is like the most Fallout film you can think of.
Have you watched this before?
Yeah. So this was one of those films that at the time, like when I was saying that, you know, I got into Fallout 3, I was dipping into, I guess it was that kind of edgy teenager kind of phase. I guess I was like very into like dark, gritty, post-apocalyptic stuff, and Mad Max was definitely on the cards with that. I never really circled back to it until maybe a couple of years ago, where I did sort of watch through the franchise. I'll talk about my thoughts about it later on, but in terms of a couple of other details just around the reception of the film, it had a budget of 4.5 million Australian dollars, because it is an Australian film. Box office wise, it clocked up 36 million US dollars. On Wikipedia it says brackets rentals, so I don't know if that was because maybe it didn't have a wide release.
Did it not have a theatrical release? That's interesting.
Yeah. And then otherwise, just in terms of like reception, I guess generally it's got a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's very much deemed a classic. 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, and on Letterboxd, which is our kind of review system of choice, it's a 3.9 out of 5.
Let's just quickly talk about rating. So we're trying to think about how do we score this in terms of making it quite Fallout-like. And so we kind of came up with the idea of asking, what makes this movie great? That's G, the genre. R, random specifics. E, environment. A, aesthetic. And T, tribes. We're going to score it like a special, basically. Like, instead of having attributes, we're having a score. So genre, it's the many direct or referenced Fallout genres and plots. So there are westerns, there is post-apocalyptic, right? These types of things. How close to the genres of Fallout are we going? Random specifics. If I could have thought of an acronym where it ends with this, it would have been good, but we're putting it here. Second, random specifics are super specific things that are very Fallout. Like, it could be perks, dialogue, gameplay, mechanisms, these types of things. What you'd find in the inventory or whatever. Then we're talking about environment. So that is the locations, settlements. Is there a vault? Is there lore in this environment and in this world? That is very Fallout. Aesthetics. So that is apparel, weapons and ammo, any kind of aid that they use. That's quite similar. But also aesthetic in terms of visuals and sounds as well. And then tribes. These are people. These are factions. These could be MPs, companions, creatures. An obvious one might be, are there raiders? Is there rangers? Right? These types of things. Are there any similar or very specific kind of similarities? So as we kind of talk about the movie, we're going to basically just give a +1, a +1, a +1, or whatever to any of these kind of points here when it comes to the genre, random events, or random specifics, I guess. Environment, aesthetic, and tribe. So any of these things, we're going to throw them into these columns, and at the end of that, it's going to give us a score, all these +1s, and we're going to then eventually have a ranking. We can see which is the most, according to this, the most Fallout-like movie. Okay, let's do a little bit of a recap and let's go through this. So we start off with a title, and it kind of just goes bash, 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 like it's Mad, Made of Steel. Mad, psh, Max, psh, 2, psh, kind of all coming in. Get our titles. It has a monologue, and we don't know who the voice is. It's an older Australian voice talking about the apocalypse and what's happened. There were wars, people were fighting. It uses a lot of old black and white footage, so it doesn't try to look like a future war or anything. It just uses, I don't know, stock footage or something.
This opening was like very much, I was just immediately thinking, this is almost like the opening to one of the games, right? You've got the voiceover, Ron Perlman type voiceover. You've got the archive footage, black and white footage. It's so Fallout. It's like specifically so. Right?
So in terms of great, where does that monologue go?
I'd go random. Yeah.
Random?
Yeah.
Random events, opening monologue.
Yeah, but I think this clocks up 2 points, right? Because I think the random piece of it is the very specific monologue with archive black and white footage. That's very specific and random. But then I think it also gets a point in genre just in terms of the plot setup, right? It's post-apocalyptic but post-nuclear specifically as well, right? There's like resource wars, which is, very much the Fallout setup. So it gets a point in each, I would say.
So got one for genre, one for random events. Okay. Let me see. Credits. Music by Brian May. No, not that one. The Australian one. And we go straight into we see Max, played by, of course, Mel Gibson, driving down the road in a car with his dog. He is low on fuel. It's pretty sparse where he is. Suddenly he is chased by some... I don't think these guys have a name, right? Like a group. But we're just going to call them raiders, right? They're somebody calls them marauders or something. But they're raiders, effectively. Which also means that's a point for tribes.
We've got a bunch of points racking up actually in this opening. I feel like we might go top heavy because obviously some of them are very like broad things that are related to the film. But there's a few points here, right? Like you've got the wasteland, is very New Vegas wasteland. It's kind of, Australian outback type stuff, right? So it's golden wasteland. The Raiders look, I mean, the Fallout 100%. The Raiders in Fallout was inspired by Mad Max. There's no way they weren't, right? The armor's the same, all of that. So these two guys on the bike, they look exactly like. And then you've got sitting next to Max in the car seat
is his dog. That's a dog meat. Yeah. Not only has he got the dog, he's even got a little neckerchief, a little bandana tied around him. So wait, we're going to say that's under tribes. You get dog. So we get dog meat. Yeah. We've got Raider outfits because they are specifically like repurposed sporting gear.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Diamond City Police, that kind of thing, but it's a little more cricket, isn't it? And then location is wasteland, right? Wow. Okay, racking them up. Okay. Okay, so they're being chased. There's guys on a bike. There's a guy called, I think I've made in my notes, Red Mohawk. We later find out he's called Wes. One of the cars chasing Max crashes. He gets out, steals their fuel. There's a slight little face-off with Wes and the other Raiders, and then they disappear. Max tops up. Let me see. He's also got a double-barrel shotgun.
Double-barrel shotgun. Yeah, I was wondering about this, right? With weapons. I'm sure we'll debate it later on, but there are specific weapons, I guess, you can get in Fallout. There's one that pops up later on, which we'll discuss. Sawn-off shotgun is kind of iconic. I feel like you could put it down and we can maybe debate it later. But I think one that definitely has to go up is Max's outfit. He's got
Max's outfit. It is literally what's it called in Fallout? It's called.
I think in Fallout 4 it's called
road leathers. Road leathers. Yeah. That is very specific. That's what he's wearing. Short sleeve edition here, but he's got the road leathers. I think we've got the. I think we've got the under aesthetics. I guess we're going to have also then the shotgun. In theory that could be within the game universe. That could be a reference to like Doom, right? So that maybe
it could be anything. Yeah.
Anything with a shotgun. Let's more. Maybe for now we'll talk about that. Okay. Okay, so he then finds what is parked. I think I made original notes saying mini helicopter. I think it's called a gyrocopter, which is like a little one-person helicopter that's like a go-kart with a propeller on top, right? It's a small little thing. And on it, there's a snake. Max goes in to pull the snake off, so to investigate, and a guy pops up out of the sand with a crossbow.
The snake! Put it down! Gently. Yes. Carry on. The gun. Down.
This guy we learn I think he's just credited as Gyro Captain.
Yeah.
Great. He gets the better of Max, and he's... Don't hurt my snake. He's basically saying to him because I think he wants to eat it later or something.
He is like the most Fallout NPC, right? Like he's zany, he's nutty, he's dressed funny. So I feel like that's a point, right?
That's into tribes. We think Gyrocopter, Gyro Captain. Okay.
Yeah.
Gyro Captain, he's racking them up.
He's an NPC.
I would say also aesthetic-wise, actually, I'm going to put this into random specifics here. He is. I think I've got a note saying he is dressed for stats because he's a tall guy. He's wearing an overcoat. He's wearing aviation goggles. He's wearing like an old prospector onesie. You know, like when
Yeah,
they go to
yeah.
bed and he's probably got a flap on the back that would fall down and show his butt, those types of things, like pajamas. Then he's got like little pumps on for his feet. It's like he's
Little
dressing.
scarf, yeah.
He's got a scarf, so it's like he's going for charisma with the scarf. He's going for perception with the goggles. He's going for agility with the rest of the outfit. Like I feel like he's so dressed for very specific stats. This guy, dressed for stats, yeah. So he gets the better of Max, and then he basically, I think he wants his fuel. Max, he kind of goes along with him. Yeah, I'm going to remove... He's got a booby trap under his car that'll blow it up, so he's like, okay, I'm not going to turn that on. And then the gyro captain opens the door, and the dog jumps out, and then Max turns the tables and takes him prisoner. He's about to kill him, and he says, no. I can get you fuel. I know you need fuel. I'm going to get you fuel. There's a place pumping it out and refining it. I'm smart, but I ain't got the muscle for it. A guy like you's resourceful. You're gonna be able to get some fuel, no problem. So he believes him. They then go and find this kind of mining camp. I think do we call it gas town? I think in later movies there's a gas town which is bigger. This is smaller, right? It's like a little encampment. There's pumps pulling out, fuel out of the ground, and they're refining it maybe. So Max gets there. They're up high. They're watching and observing, and they can see that the mining or gas town is kind of under assault from raiders. The raiders are all in cars. Sorry.
So yeah, I was just going to say about the settlement itself. It's I mean, I guess you could say any settlement in a wasteland is going to be like Fallout like, but it does. I feel like the aesthetics of it again just lend itself to Fallout very much. Like there's like tires that make up the walls. There's all sorts of like tents and pipes and smoke coming out and all these sort of things. So I feel like aesthetically it's a very Fallout settlement. So
I'll give you that. There's nothing else around it as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like if it was just
wasteland.
like if there were lots of stuff, like you could say okay, there's not specific, but this feels like a very Fallout kind of location, right?
Okay, so they're watching and waiting to see what's happening with the raid that's going on. They're being fended off. There's flamethrowers. Whilst Max is waiting, he's got the gyro captain chained up. While they observe, he opens a can of Dinky D, pre-war dog food. That is canned dog food is such a that's an aesthetic, right? That's eating pre-war dog food.
Yeah, it's a consumable, an item, right? So,
yeah. Yeah. So
it's not the same as just like if he was just eating a bit of food, right? But this is very specific when you're just the random things that you end up having to eat in Fallout.
He's eating it with a fork, great, and then the dog's kind of paying a little bit of attention, but the gyro captain, he wants a bit of it, but he's not saying anything because he's tied up. He does pull out a wooden spoon from his pocket, like a big wooden spoon, like almost like licking his lips, which is quite funny. Great, and so they're just observing, waiting for things to die down to see what happens with the raiders and the guys in the settlement. Whilst they're waiting, so you can hear them yelling indistinctly in the background. Because I had subtitles on, I was able to get some specifics of what they were saying. Did you hear any of what was being yelled?
No, I don't think I did.
Here's some. There wasn't too many. Here's the gist of it. Some quotes. So these are the raiders yelling, right? So you can hear them with their assault going on here. Onward, bring me the fuel for the glory of humongous. Then we had Smegma Crazies to the left. Smegma Crazies. To the gate. Gay boy berserkers to the gate. Then there's I am your lord and attack my vermin. Attack. Those are mad.
Excellent. So it's funny because I didn't really clock onto that, but now that the way you were reading that out, it felt very NPC kind of dialogue, right? Like, just random little lines that they keep recycling.
That's it. Like it's just like going on in the background, but it's like what was interesting for me is like they're just watching, and all this is being yelled, and they're just so disinterested. Like Max is just not interested in all this stuff that's going on. And I liked the idea that with these raiders, like there's within them like a sub faction of gay boy berserkers and smegma crazies. And so when I was watching it afterwards, I was trying to identify who are the gay boy berserkers, and like which guys, right? And this is what year was this? 80? What year did we say?
81.
So it was 81 Australia. Do we think the guys in the leather chaps are the gay boy berserkers?
Maybe it is, yeah. Because I guess it'd be kind of pejorative. Right?
A little on the nose, right? But
yeah.
But then like I think like Wes is like, this is interesting because like Wes when we meet in the beginning, the guy with the red mohawk, he's on the bike and he's got like, I was like, oh, he's got a woman on. I was like, oh no, it's like a thin, pretty boy blonde guy in his leathers, and it's like and it's just like and he later gets killed, and I was like, oh, is that his boy? And I was just like, he's quite mad about it, and I was just like, oh, is he is that his team? Like everyone under him is a gay boy berserker, and then like the smegma crazies and maybe the guy who's chatting later with like wearing the like all the like the cat skin or whatever it is. I don't know, like who seems to be the mouthpiece for Lord Humongous, who we're about to meet.
Greetings from the Humongous, the Lord Humongous, the warrior of the wasteland.
Like I was trying to think, is he like a leader? Like, did they have like legions? I don't know.
I feel like you've unpacked like lore that I didn't, and then that feels very Fallout, right? Like having these little sub factions and
because you have raiders as a broad thing, but then occasionally you do have there'll be a mission, and it's like you've got to do something with this specific crew of raiders.
Yeah, interesting.
Is that a point? Is that specifics?
I think we add it in, and I think we debate it at the end if it's strong enough to hold. But damn, yeah, I missed all of that lore. I was not paying attention clearly.
Okay, so the raiders leave, and then the Gastown guys, I don't know where they're going, but they send out a couple of little buggies, little vehicles with fuel. They get intercepted and they kill and assault them. There's in amongst this, which has a kind of upsetting assault on a woman, there's a little joke which it still kind of popped me a little bit. I was like, oh, that's a good joke. I'm sorry it's happening here. Which is Max is watching with his binoculars, like trying to figure out what's going on. They're getting assaulted. This person's getting killed. I'm trying to look for an opportunity, I think, to get in and get some gas. And the gyro captain pulls out of his jacket pocket and then expands to maybe 3 or 4 feet long a giant telescope out of his pocket.
Yeah.
And he's just watching. Max is there looking, and then he's over the top of him looking with his telescope. And then Max notices, and he's just like, what the hell? And just takes the telescope off him. But I was like, oh, that's a good little joke. They got it going in there, like a little comparing their what their equipment is, etc.
I did kind of note that telescope as well, because I don't think there's any telescopes in Fallout. There are binoculars, but there are not telescopes.
There are binoculars, you're right. Okay, so Max sees an opportunity. Once the raiders leave, or most of the raiders leave, he goes in and rescues the survivor, takes him back to the gas town, and he says, great, here's your guy, give me some fuel, basically. They're pretty unhappy with him. They think he might be a bad guy. At the very least, he's an opportunist. So they basically say, tough, mate, we're taking your car, and you're not going anywhere, we're not giving you any gas.
Okay, so I had a couple of points there. One thing is you didn't mention the kid. There's a kid that shows up. Some little feral-looking child with some kind of like fur outfit on, who sidles up to him as he's walking up to. You keep saying, is it called? I was just going to look up. Is it called Gastown? Because this is going to throw me off. I feel like I noted down the name.
We can call it Gastown. Is definitely in Fury Road.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they have, is it Gastown and then the Bullet Farm or something? They have these fun little names for like industrial settlements.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. But so one thing to note was just the kid, who we'll kind of circle back to at a later point. But a few points to note here is that I thought the way these guys are settlers, so I don't know whether that's strong enough to count to a point by itself, but they feel very much like Fallout settlers in that they've got similar kind of outfits on. They've, it's like they've got a culture. And you mentioned it earlier on in relation to some of the Raider pieces being like the baseball outfits in Diamond City and Fallout 4.
These guys have a cricket gear outfit, like uniform almost.
Exactly, yeah. So it's very much the same thing, like kind of like using and something that I really like in Fallout is pre-war stuff that had some different significance that's being repurposed for some, wasteland use. But maybe the people have actually forgotten what the original meaning was,
Yeah.
I think in this case, obviously the post-apocalypse doesn't occur so far away from the inciting event of the war or whatever. Max, I believe, is a pre-war guy, right?
Yeah.
I think.
I think so from the first movie. It was still pretty lawless and mad, but it wasn't the end of the world.
It was just like turning kind of. But yeah, so like their outfits plus them being settlers in that way is definitely a point, I feel like, in aesthetics, and maybe also tribes, yeah. And then the other piece, I guess maybe this is I was going to say, yeah, dialogue here felt quite Fallout-ish in that Max turns up and it almost feels like he failed the dialogue option because they don't believe his story, right? Like he tries to talk his way into, saying that because this guy that he's helped said that he would help him get some fuel at the gas town.
So like it's he needs a +8. He needs a +8.
Yeah.
And he's only got a 5, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. So yeah,
let's add that into random specifics of fails dialogue check.
If you had a contract, it was with him, and it died with him. Get rid of him.
So the Raiders all return. The kid's still knocking around. We learn that the leader of the bad guys here is called Lord Humongous. He has a mask. He is huge. He is jacked. He is like it's the future, but he's on that, one chicken breast, 2 asparagus, Like
this is one thing actually you don't get in Fallout very much. He's a very Fallout, he's definitely like a raider leader type guy, his whole setup. But you don't get a lot of NPC human variants in Fallout, right? There's no one who's like jacked, no one who's like overweight, no one who's... They're all kind of the same proportions for the most
Super
part.
mutants are all the same, apart from a behemoth. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're all exactly the same. Humans, all the same, pretty much, right? Yeah. Okay, so he's there, he's masked, he's jacked. There's a kid with a boomerang. He pops up again. He throws his boomerang and it hits Wes's kind of guy in the head and kills him. Pretty gory.
Which was, a couple of points there. The kid himself reminded me of Mysterious Stranger. The Mysterious Stranger perk in Fallout. He just kind of pops up and boomerangs this guy. I think this pops up later in the film where it really reinforces that perk.
Yeah.
So that was a little random event point that I was going to ascribe. And then just the death as well. Like it's very gory and it's goofy, right? Because it's at the hands of a boomerang.
Gory and goofy death. I guess you could also throw in with the fact that there's a guy who's like the mouthpiece who's wearing like a fur kind of outfit who's like, oh, you got to listen to Lord Humongous, whatever. Like he's his hype man. And when the kid throws the boomerang, he tries to catch it and it slices off his fingers and everyone laughs at him, which is quite funny. They reference the place where they are as the wasteland. There's a bit of arguing. The kid comes back with his boomerang and it's got bits of brain in it still. So they leave. I think Humongous gives them an ultimatum. Give us gas, we won't kill you. You can just walk away, no problem. So they're kind of arguing about that. They mention how they want to haul the fuel to get 2,000 miles away because they think there's a place where things are still good and not horrible. Max says he passed a truck at the beginning of the movie where he was getting fuel out of another car when he was getting chased. And he says... give me some fuel. I'll sneak off, fill it up, this truck, bring it back, and then you can use that to haul your gas so you can drive 2,000 miles away or whatever. He sneaks past the raider camp on the way out at night.
Does he actually sneak past it? In which case, is that a point because it's the sneak skill?
Well, it's not skillful because he makes noise.
Okay. Right,
he makes noise, and that's when the feral kid shows up as the mysterious stranger, and he makes maybe a wolf noise. So when they think, "What's that noise?" The kid helps him out. Now, during all this time, the gyro captain was chained up still. He just left him behind in the little encampment when they were watching up high. And so they pass him on the way to the truck, and they make him carry the fuel. They on the way to the truck and to the back to the guy's gyrocopter, one of the snakes that he put on apparently he puts them there as a trap on his gyrocopter, has killed somebody. I can't tell if it's a settler or a raider, but they loot him. That's a lot of games, but they loot the dead body. They find some ammo, some dice, and some other things, and some chains. I
like that though. There's the things that they find on him are little.
Very
random,
it's
right?
ammo, isn't it? Yeah, like that's the things of like finding looting the body. Yeah, like that's.
And I don't know about you, but for me, Fallout, like a big part of the gameplay loop for me was looting stuff from bodies.
But then
not
it's
just
also
bodies,
it
but
becomes
just like everything.
But then it's also like it becomes this burden of like, oh man, I'm carrying too much. I'm over encumbered. But whatever. Yeah. Okay, so tall guy gets his copter going. Wes and his crew see Max in the truck, and they chase them back. Humongous spots it. He gets his pistol out with a long-range sight attached to the top. Shoots the engine. They still get back. The gun. He gets it. He gets Lord Humongous. But we've not mentioned the guy's called Lord Humongous. Like how insane that is, but.
That's a great name. I also thought his mask is a little. There's definitely a mask in Fallout.
It's a hockey mask, right?
Yeah.
Well, two things.
Yeah. No,
two
you're
things.
right. Yeah. That's it.
It's a hockey mask, so you can kind of see his eyes and stuff. But when you show the back of his head, I'm trying to figure out if it's burnt and skull like burns, or if it's like radiation burns. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with him. But the rest of his, like his. I keep telling you how big and jacked the guy is. Smooth as hell, but like just the back. But the back of his head, it looks like it looks like he's taken some damage there.
But the weapon.
The weapon. I'm trying to figure out where I've definitely seen this weapon. Like you can get. I was thinking, is it maybe a Fallout 3 Magnum with the long sights?
Yeah, there's definitely there is definitely a weapon. I don't know which one specifically.
I was trying to Google it, right, and I was trying to find them. And I think, as I said, I've not played Fallout 3 add-ons, but it looks for all the world when you're looking online like Callahan's Magnum. Look it up. Look up Fallout 3 Callahan's Magnum. What do you see?
Oh yeah.
It's that like
it's a sort of silver version of it, right? I think.
Yeah, it's either way, it's a legendary weapon that he's.
That's the thing. I think that's the piece of it is like it's a unique weapon, unique named weapon, legendary weapon.
Nobody else is. They don't really pay any attention to like. There's a lot of other weapons and stuff.
It's the sort of thing that you'd get like as a reward for killing him, right? Like, or maybe in Fallout you would be able to take his side, and then like you get given it as a gift or something.
Okay, so there's a bit of a chase. There's quite a fun thing where Wes tries to get through windows and stuff. Max makes it back to the settlement. The copter helps and causes a bit of havoc with snakes, which are terrible rubber snakes. Then they kind of follow up with an attack on the gas guys here. Anyway, they kind of keep attacking. They keep fighting. The raiders are still trying to get in and so on. They fight them off. And then we get to we get then to the Raiders kind of said, we gave you the offer, you didn't take it, you're dead. And we have the Raiders then, they took prisoners earlier. They string them up Raider style. So like they are just like stuck up like they've been, I'm trying to remember the word of like flailed or something. Crucified or flailed. And there's a weird little edit where it makes it look like all night they're just yelling, just going, ah! But like the Raiders, like they're dancing, I swear. They're just dancing and partying and screaming in pain all night. Like it's a weird little edit where they kind of like fade into each other, these little things.
This feels like it would go into some kind of music video. You know, like a...
Yeah.
I don't know, like what they're called. Like a Slipknot music video or something, you know, something like that. But a couple of things to note there is just that the crucifying is very Caesar's Legion, right?
Yeah.
New Vegas. And then also I thought the way the settlers, and I guess overall, the way you've got the Raiders besieging the settlers at Gastown is very reminiscent of Fallout 4 settlement system, you know, where you've got random invasions of the settlements and you set up turrets and things like that. Like there's a point, like not just in a generic sense, in the sense that you get specific shots of the settlers kind of wielding their turret guns and things like that, which feels very much like a settlement defense type.
I would
event.
say yes, other than the defenses predate the protagonist.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel
you didn't show up and you didn't build them.
No, but I feel like that's fair. Maybe there's another protagonist. You know, like there's a separate guy who's setting up the settlements, like 76.
So what are we saying? Is that going to be random events?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I think so. And then, would you add in the separate point about the Caesar Legion thing?
Yeah, we can add that in.
Yeah.
We can add that as a point. So settlement defenses and Caesar's Legion crucifixion. It's just occurring to me talking about the protagonist now that we haven't mentioned that Max is a lone wanderer.
Yes, yeah. So this is it. Max definitely needs to pop up into the tribes scoring system.
Is this tribes or is this genre, the lone wanderer?
So I think the lone wanderer piece goes in genre. What I was thinking from a tribes perspective with him is he's the silent protagonist, which I think is a very Fallout thing, right? Of like having this. I mean, obviously Fallout 4 infamously upended that, but he is. I think I saw in someone's review that he has something like 14 lines in the entire film, so he hardly speaks. So yeah, regardless of I guess where you put it, he's definitely like this archetype of a Fallout protagonist for sure. Man of few words.
Okay.
Lone wanderer.
Okay. Okay. They asked Max to drive the tanker 2,000 miles. He's not having any of it. He said, give me my gas and I'll go. They give him some home truths about what they're doing is trying to live with dignity. And basically, they are a little... Can you be a snob after the apocalypse? I don't know. But they're being like, you know, we got some homegrown, free, you know, free range dignity, or you can go with those raiders who seem to have a cohesive thing going on, whatever, but who knows. He drives off, and I can't tell if he's intentionally too close to the raider camp, but he draws out Wes and a few of his crew, He gets knocked. Max gets knocked into a ditch pretty quickly. They kill his dog, which is a movie sin. Which is
a huge movie sin. Yeah.
They then try and siphon out the gas. He kind of crawls away, all injured. They try to siphon off gas, but it's booby-trapped and blows up and kills some of his guys. Wes's guys, but Wes is like, he's probably dead, and leaves. Max survives. The gyro captain, he comes and rescues him and flies him back to the settlement. We get a good shot of Max leaning over, like he's on the. It's like a. I swear you've seen this in maybe a Black Hawk Down. I'm not sure, but it's like a war movie where the guy's been rescued in the chopper and he's flying overhead. We get a god shot from the chopper, and it's just him leaning over. Looks fantastic. So he goes back to the settlement.
I guess this probably wasn't a point, I would say, from a scoring point of view, but it did just sort of remind me of like a Vertibird cutscene, in a sense, like just them flying over the wasteland. It's the only time you get to do that in Fallout. So
okay, Max is said, okay, I've changed my mind. I'm going to drive the truck. They go, I don't know. He says he's doing it. They get through the blockade. The raiders try to rush to Gastown to claim the spoils, but it's booby-trapped and explodes. Huge explosion. I don't know how much. Do you say it's $4 million Australian dollars?
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that was spent on this explosion. Like, I don't know if it's all like petrol and gasoline or whatever that just blew up, but it was a big explosion, which was pretty
I feel like in the Australian outback, it's probably. I feel like a lot of the cost of doing an explosion is doing it safely. I feel like in the outback, you can kind of just go nuts.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, so we're now back to the chase. Humongous. He had Wes chained up because earlier he was acting out. He lets him off his chain. There's a great kind of couple of stunts of like hooks and chains and attacking the truck. A bit of a siege. I mean, it looks fantastic. It's pretty good. Let me see the people on the truck. There's a tough chick who gets a bolt in the gut and falls. Until eventually it's just Max and the feral kid on the rig. There's a couple of insane stunts with humans flying through the air at high speed. Like,
it's a great chase sequence, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like mad, like it's insane. One guy tries to shoot a truck tire and gets pulled under, which I thought was funny. Let me see. Wes has a flail, and they attack the cab. The flail was pretty mad.
So one thing I was going to say. Yeah, about the weapons though. Like I was going to say, while you mentioned the sawn-off shotgun earlier on, while maybe you can't give a point for a single weapon, other than maybe if there's like a unique weapon like Humongous. I feel like I had this down as a point was just the array of weapons in this film. There's a you've one we didn't mention was that I think it's what's the red Mohawk dude's name?
Wes.
I think he's the one who's got like this little bolt that's on his hand. It's like a hand bolt
crossbow. Yeah. He's got a crossbow attached to his wrist.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. There's the maces. There's like proper bolts. There's bows and arrows. There's turrets. There's sawn-off shotguns. So I feel like there's a weapon variety. I feel like clocks up enough that I feel like it deserves a point based on that.
Let's say improvised weapon variety.
Yeah,
because it's not box fresh weapons. It's clearly they have ingenuity.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Like a I don't see a pipe pistol, but it's these are things that they've made at a workbench, perhaps. Who knows? Okay, Wes goes off the cab and under the front of the truck, or so it looks like. Humongous kills the gas guy, who's their leader of the settlement, with a trident, I think. Let me see. Gyrocopter captain gets bolts to his engine and he crashes. Max is getting away, has his shotgun, but the only shell he has fallen onto the hood. The kid crawls onto the hood. Wes jumps out. Surprise. We now see Humongous coming the other way, and then they end up colliding. The truck goes off the road and tips, and as the truck starts leaking its gas, we realize it's not gas, it's just dirt, basically. What I thought was funny was the Raiders. They're so disappointed. Like, because it's kind of the expectation is that they're insane and bloodthirsty and like they just want chaos. But when when they see like leaking out of the pipes is just dirt, they're like, oh.
Is it like a little emperor has no clothes moment for them? Is that they're like, oh, we were led on a lie or something?
Yeah. So two things. So I guess Max survives and so does the kid, just about. And it turns out that the truck was a decoy, and basically the settlers got away in smaller vehicles with gas in little instead of in a tanker, they got away with them in little cans basically. Great. I couldn't tell though when Max crawled out and was looking at the tanker leaking dirt. Did he look surprised to you?
I mean,
like, did they lie to him?
The way it's shot feels like it, right? Because he looks down, and the camera zooms in on the sand coming out. And he very much makes an action to like put his hand underneath there, and he looks at it. So I feel like he is surprised. I think I don't think he knew, which is kind of cool actually in a way, because so often in these sort of films, it's the protagonist is leading all of the innovation and like doing everything for these people that he's helping, but actually in this it seems like they've got a bit of smarts themselves to come up with a plan that's effective.
Yeah, but I guess it also like I would assume that because like Max is like no I'm driving a truck, etc etc etc, that he was being the hero with the gas, but I'm trying to figure out if this was a swerve on him or if this was him swerving everyone. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of interesting just to note from like how he's utilised, not to get into Fury Road too much, but like, the way he's utilised in that film. I think some people were maybe a little bit like that it was a little jarring, or they maybe found disappointing. But I think it's quite a common trend then, set at least in this film, where he's used as a bit of a tool. He's used for his function and his like ability to traverse the wasteland and all of that, but he doesn't necessarily have complete agency himself.
Okay, so we get an epilogue voiceover. It's the old man voice again. It's telling us that the gyrocopter captain is their new leader. They drove off very happy. Turns out that the voiceover is the little feral kid who, up to this point, has only grunted. Now he can talk relatively eloquently. And they tell us that they never saw the Road Warrior ever again, but we know that he survives and all the rest. That's the end of the movie.
Yeah, and I feel like I just on that end, I would. I don't know if you'd add a point necessarily, maybe, because we had the narration at the beginning that we had as a point. I feel like the closing narration almost deserves another point. Reason being is that it's almost identical to how the video games end. Like the video games end with a summary of the end of each faction's story.
Whatever choices you made, you get a unique ending monologue for it.
Yeah, so okay. I feel like for now I'd add it in. Maybe we can debate it now that we kind of lock in our ratings.
Well, okay, let's do that. So, if we're looking at this in terms of scoring, we've got our genre, our random events, our environment, aesthetics, and our tribes. Genre, we've got Lone Wanderer, right? And we've got post-nuclear / resource wars. Any other genre parts you think we're missing that we should?
So I had a couple of others. I had one. I think it's quite a weak one. It was just traversing across the wasteland. It's at least the way it plays out is very like Fallout like in terms of going from one location to another. There's a sense of kind of
I'd say
journey.
that's more I guess it's genre, but there is no.
It's not strong enough, I think, to be a point necessarily.
I would say this: his mission is to get gas and keep going. He ends up going on a side quest here.
Yeah, so that was the other point that I had was whether you call it a side quest or not. Like the way the plot bears out is very much like quests bear out in Fallout, where it starts off as one thing, sometimes a very simple thing. You want to find your dad, you want to find your kid, and then it just spins off into this whole other adventure, because you've got his initial thing is just he wants to get gas from the gyro captain, and then he ends up at the settlement, and then he gets to the settlement, fails his speech check, and then ends up going on this adventure to go get this truck, and so on and so forth, and then initially he's not going to drive the truck, and then he comes back and drives the truck. Like, so there's I think the way obviously to a certain degree you could say any plot can follow that structure, but
I think it does. What we have here is that we have Mad Max. So we got Max is on a side quest, but Mad Max 2, the Road Warrior, that's its only quest.
Yeah.
The movie's quest is his side quest.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's too tangled. I think.
But I think generally, I think that definitely deserves a point. I think, however you end up spinning it, I think it is that the way the story bears out in the context of like where it takes place is a very Fallout quest line type approach to the way the story plays out.
Okay. Okay. So we've got 3 points so far under genre. Yeah. Random events. We got opening monologue. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I think the gyro captain being dressed for stats is very random specific.
Definitely.
Happy with the raiders having sub-raider legions. I like that idea, but I don't think it's explored enough. We might be inferring based on them saying things.
Yeah, I like the inference. I guess this is a point where we can maybe just raise the question of caps, because we did discuss level caps for each.
Yeah. I was thinking max of 6 for each one of these.
Yeah.
So you can get a maximum of 30. Does that sound reasonable? I feel like it also gives other movies that are maybe rich in genre but not rich in, say, events, to kind of give them an opportunity to rank.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay. So Raider subs is a maybe. Failing a dialogue check, I kind of like that idea. I kind of like that one. The kid being a mysterious stranger.
It's I think it's the reason why I thought it was that not so much his introduction, but later on there's the point where he just, when Max needs him, he just pops up and like uses his boomerang or whatever it is
Here's the problem with the mysterious stranger, is that we have no idea who the mysterious stranger is. We know who this kid is. So while it has that mechanism of popping up and saving, we know this kid is. He's the guy talking. He tells us things. He talks later. And we meet him again.
Which is fair. I just think otherwise we will never get a mysterious stranger.
Well, we might get one. We might. Let's see what films we have to find in the future.
Maybe. So we'll put that as a maybe for the moment, is it?
That's a maybe. Hang on, let's go. I'm going to say Raider subs. Sub Raiders is a maybe, and I think Mysterious Stranger is a maybe. Crucifixion, Caesar's Legion, I think that's very specific. I think that works for me.
Yeah.
Settlement defenses, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I'm fine with knocking that out. I think it definitely is. Like it's a it definitely ties into Fallout, but I don't know if it's strong enough for a point. And I think to a certain degree it doesn't really matter too much, because I feel like we're maxed out on random events anyways.
Well, hang on. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think we can potentially condense opening and ending monologues into one.
I think so. I was thinking maybe not.
I think the only reason I would say is that like an opening monologue is very common. So you do get that in a lot of these kind of films. Whereas like the nature of the ending monologue is very specifically like how Fallout ends.
I would say if this movie ended differently, there would be no outro monologue. There would be no intro monologue because the kid would probably be dead.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that you have the outro monologue at all means that it's very fixed. I don't think that there's an alternative take anywhere.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not. It is a film and not an RPG, I guess.
Well, that's true. That is true. Yeah. But it's also like it's. I think it's the intro and the outro are the same.
Okay, so one thing I would take issue with is: are we going to circle back to the maybes then?
We can circle back.
Yeah, because I think that there's enough random events in this film that it needs to hit a 6. Okay. I think it just depends on which ones.
we can circle back. Let's talk about environment then. We've got the wasteland, and we've got the gas settlement. They're very strong. Okay, there are these little incidents where you go to a truck and you can loot it. So like he loots the truck and he comes to the truck. I think that is something in terms of environment that you get in Fallout, right? When you're looking at your map, you have settlements marked. Yeah. You don't have a truck and a trailer marked anywhere, right? Normally.
Yeah.
So we've got wasteland, gas settlement, random trucks for environment. Anything else in environment? I think it's very specific, but it's limited, I think, there. Aesthetics is, we've got a lot of things here. So we've got the raider outfits, we've got the road levers, we've got the shotgun, we've got the pre-war dog food, we've got uniforms of the settlers, we've got gory and goofy things happening, we've got looting the bodies, we've got Callahan's Magnum, we've got improvised weapons.
So I think I don't know if this is something that you'd want to factor into the scoring system, but I'd almost be inclined here because I don't think anything really can. I think they're all really strong. Maybe the shotgun potentially is generic enough.
It's a little generic, yeah.
Yeah, but I think outside of that, I would probably just choose based on what then gives a good spectrum of what's in the film, like that, you know, gives a good scope of what's in the film. So you know, like improvised weapons and shotgun kind of, yeah, they I think just weapons overall have a very Fallout kind of vibe. The gory and goofiness, like that little thing. I guess the question there is it overt enough? Like there are some, are there gory kills throughout, or is it just really that one? I didn't. It's not
really.
It's not a Tarantino film. Like
no. There's gory and goof. You got the in the head with they're both boomerang related incidents. One is a death and one is fingers getting sliced off.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess you could argue there's limb damage right there, but maybe not. Let's drop. Okay, shotgun, gory and goofy. Maybe not. The uniform for the settlers, looting the body is very specific.
Yeah, just by the nature of like what turns up.
In fact, looting the body, I think is a more mechanic. So I think we're going to put that into random events, and I think we should keep that in random events.
Yeah,
so let's just remove that there. But so if we've got Callahan's Magnum, improvised weapons, the uniforms of the settlers, pre-war dog food, raider outfits. I feel like we got to keep those all. I think that's a 6.
That's a 6, yeah.
Yeah. So tribes, we've got raiders. So these are the factions, NPCs, companions, creatures. So we've got raiders.
Yeah.
Dogmeat.
Yeah.
Gyro Captain. And the Gas Town settlers, basically. I think that's everyone, right?
Yeah. Is there anything... yeah, I guess with Max, we sort of settled Lone Wanderer archetype sits in genre, so I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that probably covers everything with tribes.
I think so.
Creatures. I think I had this in my notes originally, but I agree. I think we maybe discussed it beforehand that there's like a few snakes and farm animals, but nothing that kind of rises to the ranks of like a Fallout creature, really.
No. So I think, okay, so that is genre free, random events 5, environment free, aesthetics got a full 6, tribes 4, so that's 21 out of 30.
I think with random events, I would want to argue.
Go for it.
On the ending monologue, I think, as a separate point. Like I was saying, I think that monologues in general, like I think both of the opening monologue and the ending monologue have distinct. That it's whilst they're the same in the sense they are a monologue, I think they both uniquely reference two different things. I think the opening monologue references the black and white archive footage, etc., is a lot of the video game intros, a lot of the marketing material around the video games is centered on that pre-war stuff. War never changes. Pod never changes. And then the ending monologue is specifically on game endings, like giving a recap of what happens to each faction or character that your main character comes across. So I think those are two distinct things that deserve separate points.
Just because
toss well enough.
Just because I know you want this to be the most Fallout movie ever, I'll give it to you. That's 6 for a random event. So it's 22 out of 30 for Mad Max 2, the Road Warrior. I think we're calling it right. Yeah, that's I think that's a high bar. There's a lot of specifics in this so far. Yeah, that's a tough one. Okay,
I did have this idea of debuffs, so I don't know if we want to briefly discuss if there's.
Tell me about a debuff thing.
So a debuff is anything that is so overtly not Fallout, or something that like is commonly regarded as you can't do this in Fallout. And for me, I think in this, it's just the vehicles are so overwhelming. Like I feel like vehicles in Fallout is something that has been long asked for. It's long been wondered about, right? Like, why can't you drive vehicles in Fallout? There are helicopters, so those
vertibirds,
vertibirds. There is a car, as I mentioned in Fallout 2, to you. So I feel like the reason why there aren't vehicles in the game is just because Bethesda's engine is kind of, old and clunky, and they can't program it in very well. So for me, the vehicles are so prominent. It was kind of noteworty when you were going through the climax of the film, the final chase sequence. We weren't really assigning very many points because nothing that was happening there is very Fallout. So
it's such a chase movie. There's so much chasing and action.
Yeah,
you're right. How do you want to say? Give it a debuff, and what is that, a -1? Do you think?
Yeah, that's it. These would be very rare instances, maybe just one a film. And it doesn't, obviously if the one doesn't apply, that's fine. And no doubt if you pick like a film that's like, say, a noir film that's referencing the Silver Shadow or something like that, that's naturally going to have a bunch of things that are not Fallout, just by virtue of the way it's set. So that's fine. I think it's within the context of this film. This is just very glaring.
Perfect. Okay, so that means we'll take it down to a 21. I think that's still going to be a very high bar to beat. So that's the first movie we've watched. Mad Max 2, Road Warrior, 21 out of 30. That's a pretty great movie, I think, if we're talking about our ratings.
which is a pretty fair score in a way, because we kind of deliberately picked it as the first one because it is one of the most sort of overt Fallout-like films. Definitely a massive influence on the franchise, I would say. Great. Okay, so we've got our great score. I don't want to sound too much like a certain tiger when saying that, but then we'll move on to the review section of the film. So we just wanted to talk a little bit about the film in the context of just it as a film, what we think about it.
Non Fallout, you're saying, like a non.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What? Because none of what we really talked about is about the quality of the film. So what do you think of Mad Max 2? Have you felt about it in the past, and how do you feel about it now?
I feel very positive about it in the past. I enjoyed it. It is good. You're right, Max doesn't say much, but there's plenty to happen. There is plenty happening, and there's humour There is so many explosions and insane stunts. It, like you said, like the fact that we're able to link it to Fallout and to kind of stereotypes in movies or in story means that, you know, you might think it would be kind of weak in kind of plot wise. I think it works really well. I really like it. I really enjoy it. If I'm putting this on Letterboxd, I think it's a 4-star movie, 4 out of 5.
Nice.
How about you?
Yeah, I'd say it's one of my favorites. I had it when I previously watched it at a 5-star. I knocked it down this time to a 4.5. I think just because I think in the edit, actually, you referenced it in relation to the scene where they're crucifying everyone and sort of dancing and partying. That bit of the film is a little weirdly edited. It almost feels like something was cut from the film there or something. I don't know. It's very, very strange. So there are a few little like janky elements that popped up that made me just knock it down half a star. But I just think it's really impressive in terms of doing so much with so little, right? Like it's not it's even, you know, the first film was definitely an independent film. I think this might have still been, and if not, it's still not a huge budget. You know, it's shot in the Australian outback. It does so much in terms of world building, entertainment, characters, and then the chase sequence is just excellent. Like it's you know, I went back to the film obviously after having watched Fury Road, and Fury Road is obviously much higher budget and it's lauded for its, I mean, film length chase sequence basically. But this laid the blueprint for it. Like it's not just like a random chase sequence at the end. It's like a proper finale with like segments to it. You know, different things happen within that chase sequence that are clear sequences, clearly choreographed. Super entertaining. So yeah, it's a 4.5 for me. Really love it.
Fallout specific and movie specific question for you, Lovejoy. So played, you get add-ons for Fallout. You also get a big mod kind of community, so where you can get mod weapons or skins and so on.
Yeah.
If you were creating a Fallout 3, probably more, let's say Fallout 4 mod that was a Mad Max 2 mod, what would it be? What would you do?
So I when I was having a think about this this segment beforehand, I kind of categorized the types of mods. I haven't discussed this with you, but I'll do it now. Was that I kind of came up with 4 different categories of mods, and we don't have to pick one of each. It could just be whatever applies and it falls into that category. So an inventory mod where it's literally just like a weapon, some apparel, an item that you want to add into the game. Very simple and small, because some films may not have something so overt that you can have something comprehensive. Then there's perk style mods where a perk or a trait that relates to the film. Gameplay mods where it is like some kind of mechanic that we see in the film that can translate into a mod. And then a full on expansion, if you can somehow find a way of like cohesively integrating a large story DLC type mod into the game. What would it be?
Like Creation Club style.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, exactly. So I mean I feel like because the vehicles are so heavy in it, it would be hard to do like a full on expansion, unless the mod itself was adding vehicles into the game. So for me, I think I've referenced it before. It got killed as a point. I would have a perk where you have the mysterious feral child, who, when you select the perk, randomly pops up and boomerangs one of the NPCs to death.
Mysterious stranger, but feral child.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that mod. Perk. That's a good perk. For me, it's just got to be Lord Humongous, man. in his kind of bondage gear and hockey mask and his unique gun. Yeah, that's it for me. It would be like he'd have the pistol and it would have like high armor penetration. Like 80% ignores. Like
would
it,
it
like
just
it.
be like a bounty or something that you have to go get, or would he have like some sort of quest related to him?
I think it's a simple quest where you kill him for his gun.
Nice.
That's it. I
like
think that's it for me.
Like it.
Yeah, yeah. That's for me. I like that idea. If I was technically minded, I would do that.
I'm sure.
In fact, I'm
sure
shocked nobody's done it before.
I'm sure someone has done a Mad Max type mod for sure.
Yeah,
it must be.
Yeah. It's going to be that, or I'd reskin the dog, so it's his dog with the bandana.
I misheard what you said. Okay. Fair.
Oh, skin the dog though. Reskin the dog. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's good. I think you barely need to reskin it though. It's pretty much just dog meat, isn't it? In I think
dog meat.
4.
Little pink, little peachy bandana. Yeah.
On dog meat, I was just going to mention. This didn't have an opportunity to come up, but I did pull up some like very specific references that are made in Fallout. That kind of are Mad Max-ish. In Fallout 1, dog meat, a different dog meat to the one that turns up in 3 and 4. Dog meat will join the player companion if you wear a leather jacket. So if you're not wearing the leather jacket, he won't join you. So that leather jacket is, of course, a reference to Mad Max. I think there's another way that you can get him to follow you, but that's the only other way to do it. Right. Which is a nice, cool, very deliberate reference, I feel like. And then in Fallout 2, you've got the Highwayman car, which I mentioned. It's like a muscle car with, like that engine block that you get with muscle cars and requires fuel to get you about. It doesn't look exactly like Max's car, but it's very similar and feels like a reference. So I just thought I'd mention those two little tidbits.
So, what are we watching next? What can compete with the greatness of 21 points?
So I wasn't gonna, we've come up with, and I guess just give a little bit of an insight to people on like how we're coming up with the films. They are very much just like a short list that we've started putting together that we feel like and know as being like references and things like that. This one actually just popped up. I just happened to watch it the other day. I just had it on, and then enough stuff popped in there where I was like, this is actually a great candidate, and you'll see why, because I don't think you've seen it, but Beneath the Planet of the Apes. So it's the 1970 sequel to the original Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes.
Beneath the Planet of the Apes. What's the expectation then? So for this week, for Mad Max 2, with the expectation of like it's going to be post-apocalyptic, leather gear, whatever, settlements. What's the expectation with this going in?
So I don't want to spoil, because you said you haven't seen it, right?
No, but I've seen plenty of them, of these.
Yeah,
these
but there's something very specific that happens from a plot point of view in this that is such a direct Fallout reference that I don't even want to mention what it is specifically.
Okay,
it's just fun for it to emerge. But technically, Planet of the Apes is post-apocalyptic. You've got the famous Statue of Liberty scene from the original. So there's that element of like past ruins, human ruins that keep popping up as one point, and then there is a faction that pops up in the second Planet of the Apes film that is a very direct reference to a faction that is in Fallout and their story.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I'm looking forward to watching it. In that case, say goodbye. Farewell from me, Ricky, and from you.
Farewell from me, LJ.
LJ, we'll see you next time. We need to think of maybe a great sign-off, but for now it's just going to be bye.
See ya. Bye.
See ya. Bye.